All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to P. Oh, it's not PTM. Welcome to the Skill Up Show. Good afternoon. My name is Maribeth Chima. I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. Who do I have with me in the house? Please, if you're here in the house, let me know that you are with me, that you have joined me. If you're joining me on YouTube, let me know that you are and you are joining me. And if you're joining me on Facebook, let me also know that you have joined me on Facebook. If you are on YouTube and you have not subscribed to our channel yet, why don't you take the next few minutes to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we load you with parenting resources. If you're on Facebook and you haven't invited a friend here yet, what is going on with you? Why don't you go ahead and tag a friend right now so that they can join us on the stream right now. All right, it's about to go down. All right, it's a Skill Up show, and in this show, hi Miriam, it's good to have you. It's a Skill Up show, and in this show, we come here to just drop heavy tips and real hacks that you can take and run in your parenting journey, especially if you are a parent of a young child or a parent of a preteen. Okay, but you know something, that's our focus. But the tips that we give you here, the knowledge that we share here, can actually work even for children who are older, and of course, can help you begin to prepare and set the stage even for your toddlers. So, yes, the Skill Up Show is for everybody. All right, so welcome. Today we are looking at a very important life skill, very, very key: adaptability. All right, we're looking at the skill adaptability from the word adapt. What does it take to adapt? How do you teach your child how to adapt to changing situations and changing environments? Life is, they say there is only one thing that is constant in life, and that one thing is change, isn't it? We've heard this over and over again. So, yes, change will always happen. Now, what is important is how we adjust to those changes, the changes in our environment, the changes in our physical, in our life, in our lives physically, the changes that would occur in our environment, and how these changes will affect us. Some of these changes will affect us psychologically, mentally, physically, and even in our health. Some of these changes can affect us in all of these areas. Now, what do you need? What can you do as a parent to equip your child, right, to stand and thrive even in the face of changes? When you're able to do this, when you're able to equip them, then we say you have prepared them, right, to adapt to the changes. Then we say this child is skilled when it comes to adaptability. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of us as parents do not even know how to adapt. A lot of us as parents do not have this skill. So you begin to wonder, how are you going to teach your child to adapt when you do not even know how to adapt? Adaptability is not a skill that you have. Okay, some of you would want to ask, some of us think that we have adaptability skills, and that's because we don't look inward and we are not true to ourselves. Sometimes when you find yourself complaining overly about something, when you find yourself criticizing certain things, when you find yourself stuck in your old ways, it could just be that you are that way because you are unable to adapt. So I'm going to give you 1 minute. I'm going to give you half of a minute to go ahead and tag whoever is not here that needs to be here. Okay, I want you to tag that friend who has just jackpot. I want you to tag that friend who has a child at home here or wherever your home is. I want you to tag that friend that has a young child. I want you to tag everybody that is dealing with children, because this adaptability we're talking about is a life skill, and it has nothing to do. Okay, it's a life skill. Sorry, Amaka, turn it on. It's a life skill, and it has nothing to do with a particular group of people or a particular environment. It's just that the circumstances are different in different at different times and in different environments and different circumstances. So as I said, I'm giving you half a minute to tag whoever you need to tag to be here while I do some tagging myself. Okay, if you're on YouTube, send the link to whoever needs to be here. Remember, the Skill Up Show is a very short show, so we won't be here for more than about 30 minutes. So go ahead and tag whoever needs to be here right now. All right. All right, I'm waiting for you to do that. I have just done mine. I'm waiting for you to do that. I'm going to be fanning myself a little because all of a sudden my AC just stopped working. All right, so I'm going to fan myself a little so that I'm still here. I'm still here in Abuja, and the weather is getting really crazy at this point. All right, the weather is getting really crazy at this point. So it's really hot, right? So yeah. So sometimes we need to do this so that we don't melt. All right, then. So we're looking at good. Let's go right into it straight up. All right. So we're looking at how we can help our children, how we can skill our children up. Okay, how we can help them become children or people who can adapt to changes in their environment and changes in events in their lives. Very, very key if you want your child to thrive. I said earlier on, as a parent, if you do not even know how to adjust to changes yourself, if you are not adaptable as a parent, then it becomes difficult for you to raise a child who is able to adapt to changes. All right, now let me tell you some of the things that you do that makes you realize that as a parent you are not changing, you are not evolving. Okay, when you stick to a particular thing that you've known for so long. All right, we do this especially in the area of technology. So as a parent, you find yourself constantly calling your children up and down the place to do this for you and do that for you, and you are not saying to them, please, can you show me how I can do this or how I can do that? What you are telling the child, or what you are doing as a parent, is you are refusing to evolve. All right, you're refusing to evolve, and so you're going to continue to depend on these children or other people to help you sort your simple issues, like the basic things, basic skill that you need to operate your phone on your own. All right, if you are stuck in that age where you have refused to know how to use a computer, basic skills in computer, like turn on your computer, be able to send an email on your computer, be able to send an email and be able to do basic things like that, send emails, use Word as a document, use basic skills that you need, especially if you need these things for the work that you do or for whatever it is in your life that these things come. If you are not able to navigate and you're not saying to someone, can you show me how, but you are constantly calling that colleague, that subordinate, that child, and all of that, you are clearly showing that you are not ready to evolve. Okay, if you are constantly referring to your time, if you find yourself as a parent being caught in that web where you are constantly saying to your children, during our time, you children, this your generation is just messed up. During our time. Okay, parents, let me tell you one secret. If you like, all those during your time that you tell your children, it does not make the children wish they were born during your time. I hope you know that. It doesn't make them wish they were born during your time, right? And it doesn't make them envy you in any way. So all that during my time is not really doing what you think it is doing. Now, if you are going to refer to your time and you're not referring to your time in the context of preserving memories. You are not referring to your time in the context of legacy or heritage. You're trying to pass down a heritage from one generation to the other. You have a family legacy you're trying to pass down, and so you're referring them to what obtained in the family at this time. This is what grandma was like, this is what grandpa was like, this is what we did at the time, this is how we did it at the time, from a place of knowledge and a place of I want you to know more for because you're passing down, from one generation to the other. If you're not doing that, then please spare these children your endless during our time, because whatever you think it is achieving, it's not achieving it. They are not envious of you. They do not wish that they are 35, 40, 50, or 60. They don't wish. So stop trying to make them feel bad that they did not come during your time. One. Two, they cannot imagine a generation without technology and all the beautiful things that they have right now. So no, they're not envious of you at all, that you came at a time where almost everything was not possible. So whatever you think that you're achieving with all those tales, you're not achieving it. And now we don't want to be the ones we don't want to raise children who are defensive, or who, sorry, my computer is making too much noise. I don't like it. All right, so we don't want to raise children who on the defensive, or how do I put it? We don't want to raise children who who naturally feel there's a competition between us and them because of our generations. Because a lot of times when you keep trying to make them feel like their time is so messed up and your time was a glory time, what you do is it's as if there's a battle, you have put them against you and all of that. So naturally they would not be interested. Yes, naturally they will not be interested in your times. They will not be interested in the wonderful things that they should be learning from you as far where you're coming from. So they will not be interested in your heritage. They will not be interested in your traditions and whatever it is that you're supposed to be passing down from one generation to the other. This is even worse for parents who are in diaspora. For you who are in diaspora, you can't keep giving your children the impression that every time they do something wrong, they will go back to Africa. You can't keep giving them the impression that the only time they can think of their heritage, the only time they can think of the good thing, or they can think about where they are from, which is your root that you can never erase. It doesn't matter how many citizenship you have. Okay, that's the reason when they talk, it's always this person that is so from so and so place of African or Nigerian or Kenyan origin. They cannot remove that. Your origin is stuck to who you are. So yes, it doesn't matter how many citizenship you have. So can we just quit trying to make our generation or our past, right? Our past, or where our children, our origin, can we stop trying to present it to our children in a negative way? So I just said, if you're not referring to your time as a way of preserving heritage, as a way of passing tradition or culture or whatever it is from one generation to the other, if you're not referring to it as a way of teaching your children or empowering your children, if you're not referring to it from that light, so please, if you're not, quit trying to tell your children about your time. Don't tell them about your time when you were coming first, and and all of that, because in that time there were people who were coming last too. So it cannot be a generation where everybody was coming first. If you came first, it was because you came first. So why don't you go ahead? Your parents raised the child who could come first. Your parents raised the child that was supported to do well. So why don't you go ahead and support your child to do well also, so that you cannot continue to refer to the job that another person did on you that you cannot replicate on your child. Don't worry, I did not come up for you this afternoon. I didn't come to break your table. Let's move to these children. So what I was trying to buttress here is, you cannot teach your children about adaptability if you are refusing to adapt to the changes in your own environment, your own circumstances, right? And around you, basically. So if you're going to raise a child who is adaptable, your child is going to learn and see you model adaptability. Your child is going to see you make those adjustments in your life. Your child is going to see you adjust to the new things in your life. Your child is going to see you adjust in your social life. They see you adjust physically. They see you adjust mentally. They see you adjust emotionally, economically, to whatever changes are in your environment. When you do that, then you will model adaptability, and then you can help your child become adaptable, okay? Because this is is a skill. It's a life skill. Your children should be able to thrive in whatever environment they find themselves. So when we teach skills, or when we teach skills, or whatever you teach in children, we say to you, it's not enough that your child can do that thing in your home. What you need to do is you need to pre-launch that child in other environments and see how they thrive in those environments. There are some skills that you think your children have owned because they are in your environment, and you think your children are doing great at things. But I promise you, if you remove that child from your environment and put them in another environment, the child may not thrive as much. Okay, so that is why in your parenting plan, you must create opportunity for you to pre-launch your child. Okay, pre-launch your child in a way that you can step back and allow the child go and trust that the child can be on their own or do stuff on their own because of how you have empowered them. No, I am not saying you should take an unskilled child and put them out there to see how they can survive. No, you are setting that kind of child for failure. The way a lot of us have set our children for failure by sending them to boarding school without skilling them up. Yes, if you send an unskilled child to boarding school, if the first time your child has to iron, the first time your child has to wash his clothes, the first time your child has to tend to himself is when he got to boarding school, you were wrong, parents. You just set that child up for failure. The first time your child should see these things, the first time your child should do these things, as a matter of fact, by the time your child is leaving home, your child should be good at these things. Then what you're doing is you're pre-launching them into an environment where you are not there, but you have empowered them to thrive in that environment. When you do this, we say, yes, your child is ready, right? The feedback you get from that pre-launch phase will help you understand how well you've worked on this child and how well the child is thriving. All right. And then, of course, there'll be opportunity for you to now launch them again. So basically what I'm trying to say is the skill will have to happen before the launch. Okay. So yes, for your child to become adaptable, okay, you will have to skill them up and teach them what it takes for them to have this skill right in your home. Okay, talking about heritage and talking about passing down things. What stories are you telling your children? What stories are you telling your children? I already said to you, if the story you're telling your children about your past is just simply to make you look like some superhero or make you look like someone who came from a place where there was no wrong, from a place where people were perfect, then you're not telling that story right. Okay. You're not telling that story right. I'm going to be sharing stories with you soon. I have prepared stories for your children for this Christmas. Yes, talking about sharing with our children where we're coming from in a way that empowers them, in a way that makes them just drool over the experiences that we have, not from a place of we're experts. All right. So the next series of bedtime stories for champions is going to come out soon. In a few days, we're going to launch the next series. And the next volume of bedtime stories for champions. It is packed with stories that will empower your children, teach them small lessons. You know how we do it. Teach them small lessons, empower them, and of course, present where we are coming from in a beautiful light to our children, so that our children can look at us sometimes and say, oh, you had such an amazing experience. Oh, mommy, your time was so this. Not only when we want to tell them how we are so spoiled and we were so everything. Okay. All right. So get ready, okay? Anticipate bedtime stories for Champion Volume 2. You can even begin to guess what the topic of that volume is. But I promise you, it's stories that will keep your children engaged during Christmas. Fantastic, fantastic stories. All right. So now let's look. We're almost done. We're almost spending our time we're almost out of time. So let me go quickly into some of the areas that our children need to adapt. Our children will need to adapt to physical changes. Physical changes will happen in their environments, okay? In their environments, there will be changes. on them. Okay, they are growing. As they grow, there will be physical changes, okay, in their lives. Okay, they would watch themselves grow from the little children that they used to be to older children. I mean, they will watch themselves grow tall, they will watch themselves, they will watch parts of their body begin to enlarge and all of that. What are you going to do as a parent to prepare your children for this? Are you waiting for when your children are, I mean, these things begin to happen in their lives? Is that when you will start trying to explain to them? No, we need to start explaining to our children even before the changes happen in their lives. This is a short class. It's a 30-minute class. So no, we can't come here, teach you, and then teach you all you need in these sessions. So these sessions are packed with a lot of tips and a lot of, tips that you can take, nuggets that you can take and apply. Okay, well, we have programs that we have put together to hold your hand and run with you in this journey. Okay, but we don't want to work with you as a parent. Go and look for where you can come here and have this time with us. Okay, but we want to work with you on your children. We want to work with your children directly and support you to work with your children. That is what we do in the Mastermind program. The Mastermind is an amazing program that we have put together for young children and preteens. In the Mastermind, all these things we're talking about, we break this down into themes from 1 month to the other. We take a whole theme. Let's say by next year, we're going to be looking at adaptability as a skill in a month. And in that month, we are going to take each of these skills that we need to help our children adapt to, and we will break it down. We will break it down. We will do a lot of practicals around it. The children will do tasks. The children will put themselves in that space, and we will support them throughout that phase. We will bring experts that will talk to them in this area. We will help the children. It's such an amazing program. I don't even know how to tell parents about. Hi Chidima, it's good to have you. I don't know how to tell parents who do not have children in the Mastermind program about the Mastermind program. But just know this, it's such a robust program that allows you as a parent take your seat and then ready to you just take your seat and you become someone who is just supporting your child, because your child will wake up each day ready to go on his journey on his own, and do this intentionally. That's it. So in these sessions, we can give you all you need. We can just give you some of the tips that you can build on. But in the Mastermind program, we can hold your hand and walk you through this journey together. All right? So yes, the physical changes in their bodies, in the bodies of people around them. Why is their brother looking different? Why is their sister looking different? Why are they looking different? Why is this person like this? Okay, some people, I mean, they could just, I mean, it could be that something happens, to someone around them, and all of a sudden the person is looking a different way. The person is looking a different way. It could be an accident. It could be anything that is physical that has changed, something that they used to know. Some of these things are traumatic to children. We just do not know because we can't open their brain, and they do not have the vocal expression to say to us, this is what I am going through. But your simple ability to make the child understand these things and understand the fact that in life, there are changes that will happen. When these changes happen, these are the things that you should do, or these are the things that we could do. Very, very key. Other changes that could happen in their life is their relationship, their friendships. You are moving location. You're moving from one town to another, one city to another. You're moving from one region to another. You are moving from one country to another. Your children have made friends over the years, and all of a sudden they have to leave those friends and go to a place where they have to start making friends all over again. And as parents, we just want to think about this with a pinch of salt. But it's nothing. Their children, they always adjust. No, parents, their children, they will not always adjust. Okay? You can help them adjust better. You can help them deal with these changes, because sometimes we think these changes are little. They are not. It's just because in children, some of these things don't manifest immediately. And so because they don't manifest immediately, and the manifestation is not physical. It's not something that we can see. That's why we take it for granted. Some of these things affect the mental health of these children, affect them psychologically. They get to a new environment and they begin to deal with being accepted, being accepted. They begin to deal with acceptance. Basically, they begin to deal with their self-esteem. They begin to deal with the need to be seen a particular way. They begin to ask themselves why this person is different and I am different. They begin to feel maybe this person is better because this person is this way and I am not so great because I am this way. You would have to have these conversations with your children, and you have to watch your children understand and put this into practice. Okay, you have to help them understand and put these things into practice. I'll give you one very important way that you can help your children deal with, changes. Okay, let me go finish. Then I'll give you this example, give you one or two tips on how you can help them that way. As I said, we can't give you all of these things in a 30-minute session. We can't. You need walking. We need hand holding and walking through this journey so that we can step this down in a way that our children can roll with. Number 3 is emotional needs. Okay, there will be changes in our emotional needs, in your child's emotional needs. Your child has been moved from where he's always had the support. He's had his teachers who understand him. He's had friends who understand him. He goes outside his home. He has neighbors that he's played with for 4, 5, 8, 10 years of his life. And all of a sudden, your child is planted in a new neighborhood where he doesn't even have a brother or sister, or where he had just his brothers or sister. And all of that. So all of a sudden, he has to deal with the emotional challenges of being snubbed, or being neglected, and all of that. Yes. Is it the first one? Please let him get over himself and all of that. Parents, children have emotional needs, and we need to pay attention to those needs. Okay? Now your child is that person that someone has told before, or we're constantly telling, you are just a cry baby. Every time you are crying, come on, put yourself together. You always be crying like that. And then all of a sudden, your child is in a place, your child is crying and no one cares whether your child is crying. Or your child goes to a new place and your child is crying. And all of a sudden, there are people who are ready to attend to him. And your child doesn't even know how to accept the fact that people care about him just because of where he's coming from. Cultural shock is happening to your child that is being planted in a new environment altogether. Can you kindly take your time, parents, to help children understand some of the things that they are going to encounter even before they encounter these things? Be in a school where when he tries to complain about something, to be quiet. Well, come on, keep quiet and go. You're always crying and all that. And then all of a sudden, he is there suppressing. Your child is constantly, all of a sudden now the child is suppressing how he feels every time because some other person has dealt with him this way. And he gets to a new environment where people can express themselves. And the child is confused. Am I supposed to be expressing myself? Am I supposed to just stuff it in? I'm a cry baby. You need to explain and let your child understand this is what you will see when you are here and this is what to do. You must do that. We can't begin to give you everything here. It's a short period. All right. Other changes will be social cultural skills. Yes, social cultural skills. Your children are going to find themselves in new environments sometimes. Your children are going to find themselves with a new group of people. Your children are going to find themselves every day with new people around them. Your children are social beings and they are supposed to interact with other human beings. If you don't teach your children how to adapt to meeting new people, if you don't teach your children what to do when they meet new people, if you don't teach your children their boundaries when they meet people, some of our children go to school and they are too forward and they get into trouble because they are too forward because we've not taught them about boundaries. Some of our children get into trouble because for some reason we've not taught them right? How to identify when they are being a burden to other people, or when they are being accepted, I mean, or when they're being, welcomed by other people. Our children should be taught how to recognize people who are like them. They should be taught how to identify people who are like them, who share the same interests as them. Okay, it is not time to teach your children to start loving a kind of music. My dear, you need to love music. You need to sing, because if you don't do these things, you will not be able to mingle with people. No, your child can be who he is. Your child can be who she is, and be fine that way. Just all you need to do is help them identify when they find people who are like them, or how to find people who are like them. Okay, and so be able to mingle with those ones more. Teach your children that it's not everybody that needs to be in their inner circle, and that not everybody has to be their friends. So it's okay that this person doesn't seem like he would like to be your friend. It's fine. You can just be an acquaintance and just say a lovely good morning, hey, you, good morning, and then move on, right? You will find people who are like you, who have your kind of interest, who enjoy the kind of things that you enjoy, and you will be fine. Teach your children not to drool over other human beings. It doesn't matter who they are. And then it doesn't matter who they are. The moment you know who you are, you will be fine in your own skin. Quickly, let me give you 5 tips or things that you can teach your children right away that will help them in these different areas. Number 1, help your children. Teach your children to connect with their emotions and be fine. So if your child is someone who is always feeling too emotional, when people say something, he feels bad about it and all of that. Now, don't teach your children, or don't yell them down and shout and tell them, come on, you behave yourself. Are you foolish? Is it everybody you cry for? No. Teach your children that it is okay to be emotional. Help them with affirmation. Use affirmation to empower them, basically. But do not let them lose connection with themselves. It takes an empathetic person to be that emotional. Look at the world. We can't even find people who are empathetic anymore. Everyone, I mean, people are dying and people are taking pictures. People die and people want to be the first to share the news. It's because we have disconnected. And how did this disconnection happen? Will you put yourself together? Will you stop? Will you stop doing this? Will you stop doing that? Why are you crying? You cry for everything. Cry, baby. It's all of these things that are making our children disconnect from their natural instincts, their emotions that they have. So yes, if your child is a soft child, I mean, that person that is in tune with his emotions, please teach them how to manage them. Allow them connect with their emotions. Teach them how to journal their emotions or write down their emotions. Teach them how to go into the feeling, and then how to empower them, to go through their feelings, feel better after that feeling, but validate their emotions. Hey, sweetie, what happened? You went to school today and someone said nasty to you, something nasty to you. What did he say? He said he didn't want to be my friend. Oh, I understand how that makes you feel. That must have been for you. I have been seeing situations like that. Someone told me, oh yeah, when I was 8 years old, someone told me he didn't want to be my friend and all that. But yes, I felt this way too. But my mommy told me, or my sister told me, or someone told me that, something, we don't have to be friends with everybody. This one doesn't want to be your friend. There's someone out there who wants to be your friend. Okay? Let them validate their emotions. It's okay, but empower them to know that you are so much more inside of you, that people outside should not break you. Very, very key. Number 2, help your children to find their strength. Help your children to find their strength. Parents, it will shock you. All of you that are there moving your child, they will do academic work. From one academic work to one lesson teacher to one seer. Your children need your children will thrive more. How do I put it? Your children will thrive more with the right social skills than with academic skills. I don't know how to put it. It's not a competition here. What I'm trying to say is, We can't be focused on just helping our children grow in their academics, and we're not doing anything to help our children become empowered and robust in their social skills. Their ability to connect with people, their ability to thrive in varying situations and environments is more dependent on their social skills than it is on their academic skills. So if you're not a parent that is constantly, you will take your child from one lesson to one lesson to one lesson to one lesson, everything is about having A's and all of that, and you are not taking them to places where they are building social networks, where they are building their skills. It is in the skills that your children have that will enable them connect. What am I saying? Your child who plays basketball, okay, and is so skilled in basketball will be able to make friends in a new environment more than your child who is engrossed in his book at home. I am not saying playing basketball does not allow you stay engrossed in your academics. What I'm saying is we can build things that promote social skills also in our children, right? Your child who sings well, sings well, would do well to connect with more people than they would with a child who is just all tied to themselves. A system will recognize you first before individuals recognize you. A system will recognize, or your system would identify a skilled person first before individuals recognize you. All right, so your child who is moving from one country or one state or one city and all of that, and finds himself in this big school and is wondering, how do I cope and all of that? If that child is skilled, you will realize that the system will recognize this is a skilled child. And systems are not like individuals. Systems want to reward, or system wants to harness people who are skilled. So your child is a footballer and he's skilled. The system will take him in and absorb him immediately to start playing football and all of that. And hey, it's very easy to make friends with your teammates than it is to struggle with a class of 30 people. I hope I'm making sense here. All right? Now, teach your children not to drool over any human being. Teach your children not to drool over any human being. And this begins with you. If you are that person that is constantly following one person, following certain people to be your friends, every time your child can see you are the one making all the effort in a relationship, and nobody sends you. That's how you will raise them to come and be children who are drooling over human beings or other people. No, teach your children to be enough in themselves. All right? Teach your children to identify and recognize people who share the same interests. So it's important that your child is skilled or your child is informed about general knowledge. It is in their interactions. When you have interactions with people and you are making sense, more people want to speak with you. When you build leadership skills in your children, a leader will always attract people no matter where he finds himself. So go ahead and help your children, empower them to be leaders, and people will be drawn, or people, systems and people will be drawn to the knowledge that they carry. Very, very, very important. I'm going to have to stop here. The Skill Up Show is a 30-minute show, and we don't want to stretch it too long. We've already stretched it for 10 minutes. This is to tell you that we have so much to talk to you about in this topic, or when it comes to empowering your children or skilling your children up. All right, so we will come here now, take these tips, put them and take them into your unique situations in your home and start running with it immediately. Whether you are in Togo, you are in my village in Bokiland, or you are in America, wherever it is, I'm sure there's something you've taken away from this. Take it and apply it immediately. Your children need to be able to adapt. Think about it this way: if you are not there, how will your children cope? All right, but remember, parents, your children cannot be adaptable if you as a parent is refusing to be adaptable. Those of you still sitting down there and saying, I know everything about parenting, I beg, what can I say? Well, what can anybody teach you? Or yeah, sit down there and be waiting. Sit down there and be arguing with yourself. There's so much knowledge going on. I have accountability groups that I join. With all that I know, I have parenting academy that I join, because I am also on a journey. All right. I'm also on a journey. The best way to be on this journey, to be on your journey and put your child on a journey also, so that everybody is working towards a common goal. And that's what we give to you in the mastermind program. You want to be a part of the mastermind program. You want your child to be a part of the mastermind program. 7 to 13-year-olds. You can look in the comment section. I think Christabel has shared the link or how you can join the mastermind program. Go ahead and click and join the waiting list for the January cohort. We're even thinking of adding 6-year-olds. We're still thinking about it. The team is still thinking about it, because we're creating a younger children group where we are going to introduce one skill a day, and it's going to be fun and easier and all of that. We want to catch them as young as possible. That's all we're doing around here. We just want to catch them as young as possible and start skilling them up as early as possible. Okay, we will let you know if we have decided to go with the 6-year-olds. But for now, it's 7 to 13-year-olds. You can join the waiting list with just 5,000 naira. For a whole year subscription, it's 40,000 naira, inclusive of the 5,000 naira. So for a whole year, all you need to pay us is 40,000 naira, meaning the mastermind is just for about 3,000 and a little every month. It's not even enough money for one slice of pizza. Thank you very much for joining me. I see you all. Thank you, Christabel, Mariam, Facebook user. Thank you for everyone who made time to be here today. We'll be back on your screen next week on Monday at 1 p.m. where we'll be bringing you another skill that you can use to skill up your child for success. Have a blessed rest of the day. Bye.